It's time for today's travel and cruise industry news. With the latest from travel and cruises around the world, here's your host, Chillie Falls.
Good morning and welcome to Travel and Cruise Industry News. Again, my apologies, folks, for the audio issues that I had on the first time we tried to do the show today. And I hope if somebody does pop in when they see that I'm live, let me know if you can hear me, as that obviously was an issue before. Let's see who's there. Emily. You can hear me, Emily? I hope. Give me a yes or a no. I hear you. Thank you, Kenneth. All right, again, my apologies, folks. I couldn't do anything while I was on the air with the audio. So what I did was just pack everything up, came up here to my room, shut everything out completely, turned everything off, rebooted both my computer and my phone, and it's back fine. So I have no earthly idea what's going on. So at least I can get the show out of the way and get the podcast up. And again, my apologies. But anyway, welcome to Tuesday Travel and Cruise Industry News, coming to you from the Norwegian Joy out in the middle of the ocean someplace. We're actually on our way 2 sea days in a row. We're on our way to Puerto Limon in Costa Rica. So then we'll get in there day after tomorrow. A couple things just to point out real quickly about the cruise. The group is fabulous. Yeah, some of you know that Mr. Bucket List and I are hosting a group from Passion for Cruises USA Solos, and they're just wonderful. It's a really good, fun group of people. We hooked up with the Norwegian's solo group yesterday afternoon, evening. Was it 5:30? And the two groups just melded right together, just really nicely. So that part of it's fine. The ship is stunning. I mean, it's a gorgeous ship. I have not gotten as much of my work done as I would have liked to have because I've got other responsibilities. So I'm going to be doing some more work on that. The big news and the good news so far, there's good news and bad news from it. Because I now have the wheelchair, I have 3 excursions booked. So was the first thing I did yesterday was go to the excursion desk, explain the situation, and I said, do you have anything that's accessible? And she looks, she says, that's a chair. She said, is that collapsible? And I said, yeah. She said, how much does it weigh? I said, 50 pounds. She says, yeah, I'm pretty sure I can book you on several things. I said, look, you book it, just automatically, just book me and send me a message. I'll go. So that's what she did. So I've got 3 excursions booked. I can't even remember which ports they're in. So I got to work on that one yet. But anyway, so I got some excursions booked. Now, the ironic thing is that the wheelchair, the power wheelchair, which was wonderful to travel with, the airports, the airplane, everything about that was good. The hotel, having it in the hotel was fabulous. I have to have the scooter on the ships. The chair is not functional for what I do. Prime example. Some of you may on occasions know that I'll have an adult beverage. If I have an adult beverage in my hand and I got, if I'm driving with a joystick, what's going to hold my phone? So the scooter gives me, specifically for the cruise ship, gives me functionality that I just don't have in the chair. And how stupid it sounds, but right in the middle of the front is a basket, which I can put my oxygen in. I can put my computer in, my phone in, a drink if I want to. It all fits down in that basket just fine. So, and then I've got a hand to drive with. So the scooter, I'm going to keep using the scooters on the ships. I will use the wheelchairs off the ships. So that's where that's going to come in. So again, and this whole operation is to take nothing away from Scoot-Around. And obviously now that I've got the chair on a ship and have tried it out a little bit, I know that I got to have the scooters for what I do. I did okay yesterday, but the scooter was late getting here. Norwegian couldn't find it, and I'd already called Scoot-Around, and they said, "Oh, it was delivered." And so anyway, I finally got the scooter last night about 9:00. So I used the chair all day yesterday, and yeah, it's a little. Why did the computer go off? My computer just went off for some unknown reason. Okay, it's back on. Wow. All right. Now, I'm back again. You can see me and you can hear me, right? Okay. Everything just went blank. I had no idea why. There's gremlins on this ship. Okay. Anyway, that's the news on the scooter. I'm still going to be using Scoot-Around because I got to have, for what I do on cruise ships, I got to have it. All right. Let's get on and carry on with what we're supposed to be here about today. Today, folks, is National Truffle Day. I could take it or leave it. Not my favorite thing in the world. If you're listening via the podcast, welcome aboard. You can always access the podcast via my blog, which is accessadventure.net, or wherever you get your podcast from. Just search for Travel and Cruise Industry News, and up pops the Fat Travel Guy. If you're listening to the podcast and ever want to jump over to see video feeds or clips or whatever, you can just go to the description of the podcast, and there'll be a link so you can do just that. Of course, I appreciate all you guys on the podcast. You're my biggest portion of the audience now, and that's fabulous. So, all right, we do have some news stories this morning. If you haven't, folks, I would ask you to please hit the thumbs up. That helps the channel out a lot. If you have not subscribed, please consider to do so. The bell notification will let you know when I go live or when a new post is up. And everybody that's in the audience right now, they have the bell notification because I just went live. I didn't promote it. I didn't set it up. I just set the stream up and turned it on. So anyway, I would appreciate it. That'll help the channel out more than anything. All right, today's top story, folks, is Coast Guard pulled off just an unbelievable rescue. And this was out off the coast of California. Not so much unbelievable in the one thing, but Coast Guard Air Station San Diego rescued 4 passengers from 3 cruise ships in 24 hours. And think about that, those numbers, folks. 4 passengers from 3 ships in 24 hours, all off the coast of Southern California. 2 of the 3 incidents were Carnival ships, while a third, involving 2 passengers at once, a twofer, was from a Princess ship. The first was from Carnival Panorama, At the time of the assistance call, the ship was positioned 165 miles south of San Diego. It was on the last night of a 7-night Mexican Riviera cruise out of Long Beach. 47-year-old female was reportedly suffering from a progressive acute illness, and the ship rendezvoused with one of the Jayhawk helicopters from the Coast Guard, and they hoisted her aboard and transported her to Scripps Memorial Hospital in San Diego. Just 3 hours later, a second call came in from another ship involving 2 guests requiring medical evacuation. The guests were aboard Majestic Princess. One was a 74-year-old female who was suffering stroke-like symptoms. The second, a 77-year-old female suffering from kidney failure. Both evacuations were airlifted by a Jayhawk 60 helicopter, approximately 150 miles southwest of Point Conception, which is about 280 miles west of San Diego. Both patients were transported to Scripps as well. While the evacuation from Majestic Princess was being completed, a third evacuation request was made, this time from the Carnival Spirit. As soon as the transfer of the 2 Majestic passengers was completed, the same crew diverted directly to Carnival Spirit, which was approximately 86 miles west of San Clemente Island, or about 165 miles west of San Diego. An 84-year-old female passenger was reported with stroke-like symptoms and was transferred to the Coast Guard sector medical services in San Diego. Of course, to protect the privacy of the evacuated guests, as well as their family members and loved ones, there's no further details on any of the evacuations. All right, guys. Speaking of scoot around, this month, by the way, folks, is Mobility Awareness Month. More than 18 million people in North America have mobility issues, and that's why at Scoot Around, we're committed to making life easier for people with disabilities by providing information, mobility products, and services that enhance our customers' knowledge, mobility, and independence. Right now, you shop now, between now and the 12th of May, get 8% off right off the top. 8% discount to celebrate Mobility Awareness Month. You can use the number that's posted in the description and use that SRN 11137, and I'll get a little credit for it. So that's from our friends at Scoot Around. All right. Excuse me. The Port of Toronto welcomed its first cruise ship of the 2023 season this weekend as Viking Octantis arrived, making the start of the summer cruise season in the Great Lakes. Between May and October, more cruise ships than ever expected to visit Canada's largest city, bringing more than 22,000 passengers to enjoy all that Toronto has to offer. Toronto is becoming a sought-after destination for Great Lakes cruising. The port expects to welcome 54 cruise ships this season. Typically, these ships will remain in Toronto for 1 to 3 days, supporting the local economy by visiting restaurants, attractions, and shopping centers. So congratulations to our friends in not only Toronto, but in the Great Lakes area. And yeah, I got to do that one of these days. So, all right, we'll be back with more news after a quick break from one of our network sponsors. So don't go away, folks. I will be back. And the next story has to deal with our friends over at MSC. MSC has announced winter sailings from Japan, a first ever commitment from the cruise line, which has sailed seasonally to Japan for 15 years. While MSC Bellissima was docked in Yokohama, Japan recently to begin the summer 2023 season, MSC Cruises used the opportunity to announce a new winter season in Japan, just opened for sale on May the 1st, and marking the beginning of a year-round presence in Japan for the rapidly growing cruise line. I mean, clearly they are trying to get into the big three. MSC is proud to offer the largest cruise capacity in the region, and with the new winter season offerings aboard Bellissima, MSC Cruises is on course to become Japan's #1 cruise line. Carnival kind of went out of their way, and they said that this was because of rumors. But they went out of their way yesterday because of rumors on different social media sites that suggested that Carnival was going to begin requiring all guests to have passports for all sailings beginning in 2024, regardless of the embarkation port, itinerary, route, or duration. I only thought that was, huh? I thought everybody had passports. I guess they don't. But yeah, I mean, yeah, I got to take the same position on that I take on the vaccines. If you want to cruise, take care of it. Do it. Anyway, while all cruise guests are required to present proper identification before embarkation, Carnival Cruise Line has confirmed that passports are not required for all sailings and that the cruise line's documentation requirements are not planned to change. Carnival Ambassador John Heald spoke in detail about the concern, verifying document requirements for guests. Guests booked on upcoming Carnival cruises should note that one-way repositioning or transoceanic sailings, as well as voyages departing from home ports outside the U.S. that require guests to travel to a different country before embarkation, may have different documentation requirements, i.e., you need a passport. My personal feelings on this, folks, if you're going to cruise, if you're going to travel in general, get a passport. Be honest. And if you can't afford the $100 for a passport or whatever they cost now, I got to renew mine, which I need to do when I get home from this cruise. It's time. I've got six, 7 months left. So it's time to renew. There's no way I would travel anywhere outside the state of Virginia without a passport. I keep mine with me all the time. And clearly on a cruise ship, when you're going to someplace other than, Arizona or Minnesota, I think you should have a passport. And if it's not required, folks, what about the once in a lifetime issue that something happens? You're in a different country. Something happens to you. You get sick, you get hurt, whatever. And they're going to, send you to a hospital or whatever you got to do. And then the cruise ship goes on its way. You're left pretty much to deal with whatever happens. Try getting back into this country without a passport. That could be a little dicey. That's just my feelings about it. So that's not anybody's rule. Nobody's requiring it. I think it's short-sighted not to have a passport. All right, the last story today has to deal with Oceania, and I don't get to talk about Oceania very much. On May the 1st, that's yesterday, Oceania took the delivery of its newest cruise ship, the Vista, from Fincantieri shipyard in Genoa, Italy. The vessel is the first Allure-class ship to be completed for Oceania and introduces new features in accommodation, dining, and guest experience. Vista has a passenger capacity of 1,200, will operate with a service ratio of 2 staff members for every 3 guests. Vista offers 11 culinary venues, including 4 new concepts: Ember, offering American cuisine; Aquamar Kitchen, boasting a wellness theme menu. I'm not sure what a wellness theme menu is. You do push-ups on your hamburger? Anyway, Vista also boasts an elevated mixology program with specialty cocktails. Vacationers can watch Broadway-style production that feature recognizable songs and contemporary dance numbers, led by Brett Stewart, who's the Dancing with the Stars, the choreographer. It was interesting that the story came out this morning, and of course it happened yesterday, that they took delivery of the new ship. And they're going to go through the naming ceremony and all that business. I think it's on the 8th of May. She's going to do a couple cruises, like to Canada, and then is going to be shuffled down to do Caribbean. I don't know where else she's going. But anyway, it's the Oceania Vista. Looks like a really nice ship. Again, small ship as opposed to what we sail on today mostly. The ironic part, last night, Mr. Bucket List and I went to Teppanyaki, which those of you that have never gone to Teppanyaki on a cruise ship, you got to do that at least once. I've been 6 or 8 times. The food's fabulous. The show's great. The kids I call them kids, the gentlemen that are, and one lady, I had one lady one time. They put on a tremendous show as they're cooking your meal. It's just a lot of fun. But the couple that was sitting on the other side of Justin last night, they were from Dallas, and we got to talking. And they have been on a couple Oceanias and how much they really like Oceania. And I said, I would love to go on Oceania, except, that's beyond my budgetary constraints. And I said, yeah, it's a little bit more expensive, but you got to look at what you get. So, and I realized that's always the case. And I make that case, the same case all the time. But, I don't know. I'd love to be able to afford that. Speaking of affording, folks, I did come up with what Norwegian's little trick in the package for the group cruise. Part of the package was 150 minutes of Wi-Fi. But what they don't tell you is that 150 minutes, when you hook it up, you get started with it. If you're using your phone, if you close your phone, go about doing other things and come back to it an hour later, and you didn't go into the app and actually stop the Wi-Fi, the meter keeps running. So like mid-afternoon yesterday, I had used 120 minutes of the 150 or whatever the numbers were. And I said, I knew that I was going to have to buy the unlimited package at some point. on the cruise because I knew that wasn't going to last me for 12 days. Well, it didn't last me a day. So I had to go spend the money and, get the Wi-Fi. And then getting the unlimited Wi-Fi when it's sketchy kind of sucks. And then having 3 excursions. So this has turned out to be a little more expensive proposition than I was counting on. But I got to look at the benefits I'm going to get from it. So one's I'm going to be able to broadcast to you every day. So that's a benefit of spending all that extra money. So, and then I'm going to have the benefit of doing the excursions, which is going to come right back and give me more content information to bring to you guys. So anyway, that's going to wrap up the news portion of the second time around. Oh my goodness. Let's see who did make it back into the chat room. Emily's here. I am. Kenneth's with us. Mike's with us. Everybody's saying they can see and hear me finally. Steve came back. Hey, Steve. Thank you. Sometimes you have to do a reboot. I guess that's the only thing that happened was it was just a complete reboot, totally of everything. So anyway, or restart to a hammer. Yeah, I was tempted. There's Cindy. Hi, Cindy. Good morning, everybody. Looks like the internet is great. Well, that's good. Maybe it was because I was downstairs. I was at the 6th deck, and the stream was horrible. And it seemed like the stream here in the room's been a lot better. So maybe I just have to do the live streams from the room. I mean, I don't mind that, except, my guy hasn't come in, so my bed's not made up. And no, folks, I'm not going to start making up beds. Yeah, that's dead. By the way, I didn't do a video on I need to do that. It's an automatic door, which is that's so good. Oh my goodness. All of the handicapped restrooms on this ship are automatic doors. I haven't thoroughly looked into a bunch of other stuff yet as far as accessibility, but it looks like to me this is a pretty clean ship as far as accessibility issues. So let's see. One thing that I did point out, and this I'm probably going to write something up about it. One of my guests is visually challenged, and she has trouble reading the small print on everything. And the glasses she has, she was telling me the numbers, and I don't remember the numbers. I want to say 75. And she said if she would have known she was going to have that much trouble reading things, she would have brought her 300s, whatever that means. So anyway, that's an interesting, and it's something that I have not come across before that would clearly be something that I need to make people aware of. If you're visually challenged, make sure you bring something that magnifies things, small print, so you can see and understand it. So anyway, I just said that one out. All right. Let's see what else is going on over here. Emily says, perfect. Have a great time on your excursions. Yeah, that's great. I'm tickled about that. And I want to say one of them's maybe a bus tour. One of them's in a van, I think. One of them might be like a hop-on, hop-off a bus tour. But if it's accessible, I mean, I'm slow, but I can get on and off a bus. It just takes me a little longer. So we'll have to see. Yeah, again, this doesn't solve the problem for somebody that's totally non-ambulatory. It helps me out because I can walk a little. I can't walk very much because of the oxygen issues. But, I can walk a little. So that's going to open up things that I just have not been in, my wheel well for a long time. And Mike says, they never lost me. I lost y'all. But you could still, I guess, because I'm using the phone as my camera, that it stayed on and the computer went off. But it didn't kill it. So, oh well. Chocolate truffles. I've had them before, but that's not my favorite thing. Bonnie says, prayer for all the medical evacuees. Yeah, I thank you, Bonnie. And Bonnie, who was the Bonnie that was mentioned in your video yesterday? I don't remember. what. I mean, I've mentioned you several times about Alaska, and that you were a tornado was close to you. I'm not sure what you're referring to, Bonnie. Do I have a Bonnie on this? No, I don't have a Bonnie. I don't in the group. I don't know. I have no idea. In all probability, I was talking about you. It's the only thing I can think of. Steve says, hope MSC doesn't get too big. I don't want my Carnival stock to drop anymore. Now, I understand that, but I think it's going to happen. I have a feeling they're going to be up there pushing Royal Caribbean for number 2 pretty quickly. They're never going to get big as Carnival. So Carnival's still going to be number 1. But I think there's no doubt about it that they have their sights set on surpassing Royal Caribbean. Emily says, all set for the Philippines. Yeah. Oh, Emily, I'd be all over you if you didn't have a passport. Oh, my goodness. If you have cruises flights planned, your passport needs to be renewed before 6 months of expiration. Yeah. And mine expires in January, I think it is. So it's getting close enough that I can, I need to go on and do it and get it done. Cruising is fun anytime. Good morning, everyone. I'm glad you came back with us. Again, my apologies to everybody for having no audio. I mean, and I had it and it went away. So that was just that's what had me stumped, is because I didn't have it, then I had it, then I didn't have it. So I don't know. Carnival has separate lines of debarkation for birth certificates in Miami, and there were a lot of people in it. Wow. I mean, I guess I just wouldn't do it. That's personal. Getting ready to get my passport application in on the 9th. All right, very good, Steve. With NCL, always get the Wi-Fi upgrade as soon as you book. Prices keep going up. Oh yeah, it's awful. He did give me $100 credit back for the 150 minutes that I had on the package for this cruise. So it was $36 less than $100. It was $336. I think that's just highway robbery. Now, what are they going to do when they get the new system here? And the new system is a lot cheaper. Technically, they should be giving us the Wi-Fi cheaper. I bet you Norwegian doesn't. And I'm not saying anything against Norway. And again, I love the ship. Oh my goodness. And I love the people. I haven't had any issues at all. And people have gone out of their way to help me if I need any help or anything. But yeah, it's been really good. It's just I like the ship. I like the people. This is the management issues is where I have problems anymore with cruise lines. Some of their boneheaded moves. Steve said, hit that like button, y'all. Yeah, I do appreciate that. Steve is visually impaired as well. Okay. Yeah, that was interesting that Mary Ann, we were had breakfast together this morning, and she was talking about that. iPhones have a great magnifier, can increase print like 200%. I don't know. I don't have an iPhone. I'm not smart enough for an iPhone. But I don't know if I've got a magnifier on my phone at all. I have to go look. Never leave home without my visual aids. I understand. I mean, that's just like I never leave home without something in the way of mobility aids. So, yeah, I know, again, it's my lack of knowledge and experience in the accessibility field that I run across these things that I've just never thought of, unless some of the folks that I've interviewed and talked to happen to mention them. That's how I end up finding out about a lot of stuff. And postings on the blog, that helps too. The video from your meet and greet, someone kept asking, oh, okay. From the meet and greet, yeah, there's a Bonnie. That's one of the girls' cousins, I think it was. And she ends up getting lost all the time. And she didn't make it to the meeting. So yeah, there is a Bonnie. That's what they were talking about. And it's not somebody that I've had a chance to really get to know yet. So that the name didn't stick. So yeah, well, for once, Bonnie, I wasn't talking about you. How about that? So anyway, I know what I didn't do this morning. I was going to do. I have to do this tomorrow. Nate went to a I don't know if you call it a seaquarium or one of those kind of things in Vancouver, and he recommends it now. If anybody has an afternoon or part of a morning in Vancouver, that it's a great spot. I've got a bunch of pictures. I need to get some time to work on several videos, but yeah, it's. I'm going to be talking about Nate's visit to the seaquarium, but I had a little clip loaded up of the seals going around. Arf, 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 arf. Give me some food. Throw me a fish. I'm starving to death. So, all right, that's going to wrap me up for today, folks. Tomorrow is another sea day, so I'll be with you at 11 o'clock unless something screws up again like today. But yeah, I'll be here same time tomorrow from the Norwegian Joy. Then on Thursday, when I'll be in Puerto Limon, I believe one of those days I've got like a 7 o'clock excursion. So I may just have to do the show as a question mark on when I get back on board. So I'll check that out today. So I'll definitely be able to tell you tomorrow. But yeah, 7 o'clock in the morning, there's no sense in me trying to do a show by 5 o'clock and get things processed and go for a 7 o'clock excursion. That's gonna, no. I don't mind doing things early, but that's kind of crazy. So, all right, guys, everybody have a fantastic day. Thanks for being with me. Thanks for coming back after the disaster. I so appreciate each and every one of you guys. All right. As always, stay safe, stay healthy, think about cruising, and hopefully one day soon we'll all get together on the high seas. Have a fabulous day, everybody. See you tomorrow.
I regularly post videos on all facets of the travel and cruise industry. So if you like to keep up with the latest in cruise ships, ports of call, cruises themselves, Chillie chats, and travel and cruise industry news, just hit the little subscribe button in the lower right-hand corner, hit the bell notification so you'll be notified when a new video is up or we go live. This video was produced by Chillie's Cruises.